In the biting cold and icy winds, hundreds of people were trapped on a massive ship. Their bodies were slowly going numb, and with every passing second, they felt closer to death. The situation was rapidly deteriorating when suddenly, a strange commotion caught everyone's attention. The water level was rising steadily, and now it had reached the ship's engines, making things even worse. Within moments, the entire ship was engulfed in darkness, surrounded only by cold water and silence. Fear and panic were evident on everyone's faces. Would they survive? You've probably heard ships sailing through oceans filled with water, but have you ever heard of a ship navigating through an icy sea? The story of the MV Explorer is truly unique, because this ship wasn't cutting through water. It was smashing its way through huge chunks of ice. It was already 10 p.m., and outside it was pitch dark and freezing cold, with visibility extremely low. Most passengers were fast asleep in their cabins, while a few were relaxing inside the ship. Suddenly, a terrifying noise shook the entire vessel. A huge jolt. The ship came to a halt, and the captain, who had taken this route many times before, stayed calm. He had complete faith in the ship's strength and his own skills. He thought it was just a normal bump from hitting the thick layer of ice, and that the ship would continue moving forward like before. This ship had faced many icy challenges, but this time things were different. The captain had no idea that there was a huge hole in the bottom of the ship. The situation was getting more dangerous by the minute, as water was rushing in fast, and the captain didn't even realize it. Neither did the passengers. They knew disaster was lurking right beneath their feet. With every passing second, icy water was closing in, ready to swallow the ship whole. It wasn't just a matter of whether the ship would sink. The real question was whether everyone would be able to escape in time, or if this ship would meet the same fate as the Titanic, vanishing into the freezing depths with its last breath. This wasn't just your typical maritime accident. It was a race between life and death. Would the MV Explorer manage to save itself from the dark, icy ocean, or would it fall prey to this vast empire of ice? To find out how it'll swallow you whole forever, watch the video until the end without skipping. Back in the 1960s, getting to places like Antarctica via the sea was really tough. No ship could take the risk of going there because of the heavy ice in the oceans. Just like in 1912, when the Titanic sank after hitting an iceberg, you can imagine how dangerous a trip to Antarctica could be. But a Swedish-American businessman named Erik Lindblad saw a golden opportunity in this. He thought, people want to travel to Antarctica. Why not build a ship that can safely navigate through icy rocks? With that idea, Erik had a strong ship developed that was so powerful it could break through thick ice in its path. This ship was named the Lindblad Explorer and started taking adventurous travelers to Antarctica who wanted to see its amazing world. In this way, Erik made a good profit with this unique ship and made trips to Antarctica possible. Although the ship wasn't very big, it was known for its strength. But when a ship goes into icy waters, an icebreaker is usually sent ahead to keep the ship safe by breaking the ice. However, the Lindblad Explorer was a unique ship that didn't need an icebreaker. Its front part was designed so that as it moved forward, its weight would break the ice. Still, for safety, the ship had double-layered lightweight armor, which kept it protected. If the ship hit the ice and the outer layer got damaged, the inner layer would keep the ship safe. The design proved to be incredibly successful, and the ship became popular worldwide. People started choosing this ship for trips to Antarctica from all over. It was so reliable that it rescued other stranded ships multiple times. Over the years, its ownership and name changed, but its performance was always top-notch. It was last bought in 2004 and renamed MV Explorer. On November 11, 2007, the ship set sail for Antarctica once again. It was going to be a 19-day journey for those boarding the vessel who had dreamed of seeing Antarctica. No one had any idea what was coming next. Everyone was super excited about the trip to Antarctica and totally trusted the strength of the ship. The captain, Backed Wyman, had been through those icy waters many times before. Because of the ship's sturdiness and the captain's experience, the passengers felt safe. Everything was going smoothly until halfway through, but then the captain decided to take a new route. He thought this way would have less ice, and they'd get to their destination faster. But what he didn't know was, this route is leading them into difficulties. The first 10 days of the journey go by smoothly, but then comes the night of November 22nd. That night, the ship had to navigate through thick layers of ice. The captain had already warned the passengers that there might be sounds of ice crunching, but there was no need to panic. He advised everyone to sleep peacefully. In the darkness of the night, the ship slowly broke through the ice, while the sounds of ice cracking echoed all around, and the passengers, unbothered, were sleeping in their cabins. The ship was moving through thin ice. They had already crossed the layers and were now moving through thick, old ice when suddenly there was a loud noise, and the ship jolted hard, coming to a stop. The sudden noise and jolt woke everyone up, but the captain had already warned them, so nobody took it seriously and tried to go back to sleep. The captain didn't really grasp what had happened either, and shrugged it off, trying to push the ship forward again. The ship started moving slowly through the ice, but after a little while, they could hear screaming and shouting coming from the passengers' cabins. The ship was starting to take on water quickly because it had collided with a thick old iceberg, creating a huge hole in the bottom of the ship. The double hull didn't help at all with this crash. Water was rushing in fast, and passengers began to panic, scrambling to save themselves. When the captain heard that there was a big hole in the bottom of the ship, he couldn't believe it at first. He thought it was just a minor damage that could be fixed. But when he assessed the situation, he saw that water was rising really fast. His eyes went wide with shock as he realized that the ship was doomed. He immediately ordered his crew members to send out a distress signal, hoping that any nearby ships would pick it up and come to help. The water inside the ship was now so high that it started to tilt to one side. The crew quickly focused on calming the passengers and getting them into the lifeboats, since this ship was small and had very little chance of survival. The ship was about 46 kilometers from its destination, deep in the ocean, and in such bad shape that getting to shore was impossible. The passengers were left with no choice but to save themselves. Luckily, the distress signals sent out were picked up by 2 ships. But the problem was that they were still too far away to help the MV Explorer right away. To make matters worse, the passengers in the lifeboats were getting worse from the cold. Gradually, the water kept rising until it reached the room that powered the entire ship. A short circuit happened, and the entire ship lost power. Everyone had to evacuate, and all the crew and passengers were in the lifeboats. The captain was trying to get the ship upright, but there was so much water in it that the engine stopped working. The ship was sinking fast, and eventually the captain decided to leave the ship too. He and the crew got into the lifeboats, and now they were just waiting in the cold wind and icy water for someone to come and rescue them, watching their ship disappear into the sea. The ship that used to rule the seas was now sunk deep in the ocean. Everyone on the lifeboats was watching this heartbreaking scene under the open sky. Hours passed in that cold water, and morning was approaching. Then they spotted lights in the distance coming toward them. One of the two ships that received the distress signal was on its way to help them. Everyone was rescued safely, and the good news was that no lives were lost in this terrifying accident. But the captain's one mistake caused it all. The MV Explorer was swallowed up in the depths of the ocean, and the wreck is still buried about 25 miles away from Penguin Island. This is a chilling tale from Antarctica. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you.